What if I told you that the money in your bank account, your salary, and even the currency in your pocket is mostly created out of thin air? Not by the government, but by private banks? This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the reality of fractional reserve banking, the most powerful money creation system ever invented. Banks don't lend the money they already have. They create new money every time they give a loan. In this video, I'm going to expose the greatest financial magic trick in human history, how banks create trillions of dollars from nothing, and how this magic keeps the entire world trapped in debt. Stay with me till the end, because once you understand this, you'll never trust the system again. To understand how we got here, we have to look back at the origins of banking, where goldsmiths first realized they could issue more receipts than they had gold. Today, this is formalized. For every dollar you deposit, the bank only needs to keep a small fraction, often just 10%, as a reserve. The other 90%? It's lent out. But here's the trick, that 90% is deposited in another bank, which then lends out 90% of that. This cycle continues until a single $1,000 deposit has effectively created nearly $10,000 of new money in the system. Think about that. Nearly every dollar circulating in our economy today exists because someone, somewhere, went into debt to a private bank. But what happens if everyone wants their money back at the same time? The system is built on the assumption that we won't. This is the inherent fragility. Central banks act as the lender of last resort, but they don't stop the magic trick. They facilitate it, ensuring the debt-based machine keeps turning. As more money is created out of thin air, the value of the money you've already worked for decreases. This is the hidden tax of inflation. Those closest to the money creation, the banks and the ultra-wealthy, benefit first. By the time it reaches you, your purchasing power has already eroded. And remember, while the bank creates the principal of the loan out of thin air, they don't create the interest needed to pay it back. That has to be earned. This forces society into a perpetual rat race. We are all competing for a pool of money that is mathematically insufficient to cover the total debt. To pay off the old debt and the interest, new debt must be created. The magic trick must continue, or the entire global economy collapses. Now that you've seen behind the curtain, you can start to see why the system is designed this way. It's not a flaw, it's the feature. Let's go back to how this system actually works. To understand the dark secret, we have to look at the math behind the curtain. Suppose you deposit 100,000 rupees in a bank. It seems simple, right? You think that money just sits there safe and sound. But according to fractional reserve rules, the bank is only required to keep a small fraction, say 10%, as a reserve. That means they can lend out 90,000 of your money. But here's where the real magic happens. When the bank gives that 90,000 rupee loan to someone, that money doesn't leave the banking system. The borrower spends it. They buy a house, a car, or invest in a business. And the person who receives that payment? They do exactly what you did. They deposit it back into another bank. Now the system has two deposits instead of one. The cycle is ready to repeat. Now that second bank can again keep 10%, 9,000 rupees, and lend out 81,000 rupees of that same original value. This process repeats again and again, branching out through dozens of banks, through hundreds of transactions, all triggered by your single deposit. Your original 100,000 rupees can create nearly 1 million rupees in the economy. This is called the money multiplier effect. Banks are not just intermediaries, moving money from savers to borrowers. They are money creators. They are the architects of our currency. And they create this money as debt, with interest attached. This means for every dollar created, more than a dollar must eventually be paid back. This is the foundation of modern banking. It's a system built on a mathematical impossibility, a mountain of debt that can never be fully repaid. This expansion fuels growth, yes, but it also fuels inflation and systemic risk. It's a house of cards held together by nothing but our collective confidence. The system is efficient, but it is also fragile. In the next part, we'll look at what happens when that confidence breaks and the magic stops working. Now you know the dark secret. The money in your pocket is someone else's debt. This system didn't stay small. After 1971, when the world left the gold standard, the last physical anchor was cut. From that moment on, there was no limit on how much money could be created. The fractional reserve machine was finally unleashed. Central banks and commercial banks together created trillions. During the 2008 crisis, they used this magic to save the very banks that created it. During COVID, they created even more. Today, the total money supply in the world is mostly digital entries created through fractional reserve lending. The shocking truth? Most of the money you use every day was born as someone's debt. It's not a store of value, it's a promise to pay. Every loan creates new money. Every repayment destroys money. This is the heartbeat of our financial system. This is why the system constantly needs more debt to survive. If the borrowing stops, the money supply contracts. The machine stalls. If everyone suddenly repaid their loans at the same time, the entire global money supply would collapse. There wouldn't be enough currency left to function. This is not sustainable economics. This is financial sorcery that benefits the banks at the top while keeping everyone else in perpetual debt. We are living in a system that requires infinite growth on a finite planet. The debt has become the foundation of our very reality. But now that you know how the trick is performed, the magic loses its power over you. Information is the only way out of the debt trap. This concludes our series on fractional reserve banking. Thank you for watching and for choosing to see behind the curtain. Subscribe to stay ahead of the system. The biggest problem with fractional reserve banking is that it creates boom and bust cycles. Easy money leads to bubbles. When bubbles burst, banks get bailed out and ordinary people pay through inflation and taxes. This is the systemic unfairness hidden in plain sight. This system has transferred more wealth from the middle class to the rich than any tax or war in history. Banks earn interest on money they created from nothing. Think about that. They lend you value that didn't exist until you signed for it, and then they charge you for the privilege. It's the ultimate financial trap. To survive this system, you must accept 3 hard truths. Pay close attention because your financial future depends on them. Truth number 1. Your money in the bank is not really yours. It's legally the bank's asset. You are simply an unsecured creditor. Truth number 2. Inflation is mostly caused by this constant money creation. As they create more digital units, the value of yours is diluted. Truth number 3. This magic cannot continue forever. The math doesn't allow it. The next crisis will be bigger than 2008. So, what should you do? How do you protect yourself from a system designed to harvest your productivity? The answer is ownership. Stop keeping all your money in banks. Invest in hard assets like gold, silver, land, and productive businesses. Own things that the banks can't print. Build real skills and multiple income sources. Your ability to provide value to the world is the only asset that can never be inflated away. Most importantly, understand the game so you stop being its victim. Knowledge is the ultimate hedge against systemic risk. If this video exposed the truth for you, hit the like button. Share it with your friends and family. Let's start a conversation that matters. Subscribe and turn on notifications for the next series. And comment below. Do you think fractional reserve banking should be banned? I want to hear from you. Thank you for watching this series. Stay aware, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.